All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here. I recognize some names out there in the crowd, so nice to have you here. But let's get started. First of all, I want to thank you guys for coming. My name is Wade Cornett. I am the quote-unquote ITSM lead here at Expium. And today we are going to be talking about Jira Service Management specifically for ITSM. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what ITSM means in the eyes of Atlassian products. But first, I just want to let you know that this webinar does build on itself from another webinar that we do named Jira Service Management Fundamentals. That webinar actually happened last week, and we can drop a link in the chat to that one if you want to go back and watch it. Those are all published to YouTube after the webinars. So you can go back and watch previous versions, as Jira Cloud updates. Some of those videos may now be somewhat irrelevant, but you can go back and watch the latest one if you need to. So the main difference between this webinar that you find yourself in today is that it covers, the past one covers all of the basic Jira Service Management configuration, the portal, creating tickets as a customer, managing tickets as an agent, basically all to your day-to-day Jira Service Management basics. That's what the last webinar covers. The webinar today, we will be specifically talking about all of the features or all of the quote-unquote ITSM features that Atlassian has to offer that has now been put into Jira Cloud. So these ITSM features, I'll rattle them off here in a second, but essentially they only exist in the Jira Cloud or the Jira Service Management Cloud version as opposed to Jira Service Management for Data Center. So, oops, sorry about that. Okay, so the ITSM or the IT Service Management features that actually exist within Jira Service Management are specific functionality related to service request management, incident management, asset management, change management, and problem management. So that's what we are going to be talking about today, how Jira handles each one of those different components of the overall service management world. Okay, so spoke a little bit about some of those features, but with the Jira Service Management for ITSM, we are going to get a product named Insight if you are on the premium version. This product has actually changed names within the last week or so. The new name for Insight is Assets, so we do need to update this slide. But with your Jira Service Management license, you will also get Opsgenie, which is an alert and incident management tool. As most of you know, it's been around for a while now. Jira Service Management Cloud does come with automation for Jira. And then Statuspage, which is a separate product, but it does integrate really well with Jira Service Management. Okay, so like I said, we are going to be doing a service management demo, an asset management demo for service requests. We're going to be doing an incident management demo and a change management demo. Before we actually get into the tool here and talk about a lot of these features, I do want to talk just briefly a little bit about Expium and what it is we do here. So Expium, if you don't know, is a Platinum Solutions partner with Atlassian. And what that means is we have jumped through a lot of hoops to become the highest tier partner within Atlassian that a partner can be. So we have a certain number of certified individuals within Atlassian products. We are Agile at Scale specialized, meaning we have met special requirements within Atlassian to implement SAFe and Jira Align. And now recently, very recently, we are ITSM specialized, which is a really big deal in the eyes of Atlassian. We have met the highest requirements that you need to work with these enterprise level customers to implement Jira Service Management at the highest levels. So all good things. We offer training in the way of boot camps. So we offer a private or public boot camp for both Jira software and Jira Service Management, as well as Confluence, Jira Line, Jira Work Management. We also do private trainings that you can book and schedule with us to cover what it is you may exactly need. We do consulting within Atlassian products, so you could hire us to stand up your Jira Service Management instance, for example, and we can create solutions within the tool. And what we can't create using out-of-the-box Jira, we do have our parent company is a full stack development team, so we can create custom development where potentially needed using Jira's or Atlassian's exposed REST APIs for cloud. So really unique stuff we can do there within Jira and within our particular skill set as partner. So let's kind of get into it here. What we're going to be talking about first is assets and service management. So who is this for? Typically, this is for service teams as well as IT teams. And the challenge that most of these teams face is to be able to easily track and manage assets as well as services relating to those specific assets. And the solution really is two separate tools, or three: Jira Service Management, Insight, which is now called Assets, and automation for Jira. So we can integrate our assets database into our Jira Service Management ticketing system. So I'm going to actually go ahead and switch screens here, and we're going to dive into that. Like I said, first we are going to be doing a service request as well as asset management demo here. Like I said, our past webinar, Jira Service Management Fundamentals, we covered the portal. So you should know what this looks like if you have watched that, but essentially this is a portal for our IT service desk. And now if I come into this portal group, which is computers, I can request a new laptop. So for the purpose of this service request incident or service request and asset management demo, I'm going to request a new laptop. So you can see here, I have a basic form with a couple options. So reason for requesting a new laptop. I can say that my current equipment is damaged. I can provide any specific details here that I may need. So, I spilled my coffee, right? And then this is where it gets interesting. So which model laptop would you like? And what we can see here is there's a little bit more going on. I don't know if you noticed, but this first drop-down field only had plain text. But in this drop-down field, we can actually see images. And if we wanted to, we could see more. And that is because this is an Insight object field, meaning this field is not just text values. It actually searches the assets and or Insight database to pull a very specific list of laptops. So this field, and we'll dive into assets a little bit more after this and kind of show you how it's configured. But this field specifically searches the assets database and looks for my user, Wade, the location that I am currently in, which is St. Louis. It looks at the total number of laptops or laptop brands, models, you name it, that are actually in stock. and it only offers me laptops that are in my city as well as that are currently in stock. And so I can, we have way more than 3 laptops there, but there are only 3 that I can actually choose from right now. So let's go ahead and submit this request. I'm going to pick the MacBook Pro 13-inch. I'm going to go ahead and submit this request. Okay. So we should all know what a submitted request looks like, again, from that previous webinar last week. But so now my request is submitted, and now I'm going to switch my hats here, and I'm going to become an agent as opposed to a customer submitting a request. Give it a second to load. All right. So we can see here I have my new laptop request, and we can see some of the information that I filled out as a customer. The reason, I selected that drop-down field, which is the current equipment is damaged. I spilled my coffee on it. That's why. And then I can see the new laptop that I requested. And like I said, this is an insight object field, or now an assets object field, and it has quite a bit more information on it. So I can expand this, and I can see the name of the laptop, which was that MacBook Pro 13-inch. I can see that the vendor is Apple. The screen size, the CPU, the RAM, the storage, but ultimately, let's take a look here at this. The status is offered. And now, if you remember from when I was submitting that ticket, I told you that that laptop, the list of laptops that was shown is only going to show me laptops that are currently in stock. So what's happened is automation has run. It noticed that I requested a new laptop, and it pulled this one out of our inventory and actually changed the status of the laptop from in stock to offered. So if this was the last MacBook Pro 13-inch, somebody else submitting a request would actually not be able to select this because now it is marked as offered and no longer in stock. So little automation came in there to do that. It's pretty handy. Now, there are quite a few other things happening here that relate to service request management, and one of that is actually approvers. So we can see that the status of my ticket is currently in waiting for approval, and one approval is needed. And if I scroll down, I can see that the approver listed is actually Brian Darr. And that's because in the eyes of the Insight database, Brian Darr is actually listed as my manager. So when I submitted this request, automation has also run not only to mark this laptop as offered, but it has also searched my user and found my manager that is listed on record and automatically set my specific manager to be the approver of this request. So what just because I can switch, remove Brian and put my name here, but that's only because I'm a site admin. Normal people can't usually do that. So I can go ahead and approve my request, and now this transfers to waiting for support. So this request is good to be handled. Now, before we jump into Insight or assets, depending on the instance that you're currently using, these are rolling updates. So our demo instance is actually still on Insight, but your instance may be operating under the name assets now. Now, before we jump into there, I just want to show you this last piece, and that's this affected equipment field here. So the last thing that happened, all of this has happened when I submitted a request. Automation has also run. It found my specific user, Wade, and found the laptop that was currently associated with me. So the name of that, I actually had a MacBook Pro 16-inch. This was its name, its serial number, and the warranty expiration date. But automation has now marked this laptop as damaged because Up here, you can see the reason I'm requesting a new laptop is because I damaged my laptop. So really cool, really good way to keep track of your assets and the status that they are in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up in here to Insight, and I'm just going to show you briefly how this is all managed. And the first thing that we need to start with here is my user. So if I come to our employees and our list of employees, I can find myself. We can see, I have my name, my actual Jira user account is associated with this. My employment status, where I'm located, the department I'm in, and my manager, so that automation knows to pull Brian whenever I submit a request that does require an approval. I can see that I have one inbound reference, and that's this laptop. So I had a laptop that was associated with my user, and we can see here, because automation run, that my laptop was now marked as damaged. So pretty cool. Now, if I come back and I check out another Insight object schema, which is what these are called, or assets object schema, depending on your version of Jira right now, I can look at IT employee assets. So we can see that we have a specific list of hardware here, that being laptops, monitors, phones. So I can open this up and I can see various laptops and actually who owns this one. Brian's laptop also happens to be damaged. Elizabeth has this MacBook Pro 13-inch and hers is actually in use. Sam's is damaged. You can see we do a lot of these demos. Jason's is in use. And down here at the bottom, I believe we have some like this ThinkPad. It's located in St. Louis and it is actually in stock. So just to recap here, what is happening is when a request for a new laptop is submitted, we have a Insight object field that will search the database, pull a select list of laptops that are labeled as in stock and have the appropriate location, display that list for the user to select, and then based on their reasoning, we can mark a laptop as damaged, that is currently associated to that user. And then with the laptop that they've requested, we can see that, it has been offered. So that's everything that we've seen thus far. So Jira Service Management, Insight assets, that is how you're going to manage service request and asset management at a high level. What I think is an important takeaway here is that it is very flexible, very highly configurable, as well as you can automate a lot of this process, so you don't have to have a user or an agent going in, searching the database, seeing what is currently in stock. You can really refine that list that is displayed to your customers or internal users on what they can select. And you can do a lot with Insight and assets on your custom form. So I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, so I'm going to mention it now. I usually like to leave, 15 minutes at the end for questions. So, if you're seeing this and you guys have questions, feel free to put that down in the Q&A tab down at the bottom. And with the last 15 minutes of class, I will go over any questions that you may have as time allows. So, actually, I'm going to come back to my slides here. And let's go to our next demo, which is going to be incident management. So who does this relate to? Generally, incident management relates to IT operations teams or just IT teams in general. And the main challenge that we see here is how to respond quickly to get things back on track, as well as handle these incidents appropriately and have the appropriate people responding to them. Solution, which is a centrally managed alerting system, which is actually named Opsgenie and integrated with Jira Service Management. We also use Bitbucket to manage our deployments. We have service relationships, as well as an incident command center and integrated communications, all to help us swarm around incidents that may be created and quickly resolve them. The tools that we're going to use to do that are at a very high level, Jira Service Management, Opsgenie, and Bitbucket. You can also use tools like Statuspage and Confluence to finish this, or to take care of this as well. So let's take a look at incident management. And you're going to see here how a lot of this really starts to play on itself and build on itself. So I'm going to come down here to this servers and infrastructure portal group, and I'm going to report a system problem. So this is going to be tracked as an insight when I submit this request, so I can summarize. I can summarize my problem here. So I will say that payroll system is down. Big problem, right? You can see here that Confluence is actually suggesting knowledge base articles here that may relate to this summary that I've typed in. We do cover knowledge base suggestions and just managing a knowledge base in that fundamentals webinar that I mentioned a couple times now. So describe what happened, how it occurred, I don't know. And here I'm going to pick my affected service. So this is actually a pretty important component of incident management. And because I said the payroll service is down, I can select my payroll service. And I can set my urgency. We're going to say that this one is critical. And then how big of an impact is this to our organization? And we're going to say that it's extensive and widespread. So I'm going to go ahead and view this request from the agent's perspective now. And what I'm going to be showing you here is the key ITSM features that you're getting with Jira Service Management. So I'm not going to go too deep into everything, but I just want to show you these key features at a high level. So what we can see is that we have our affected services, which is actually managed in Insight. Because you see here, we have this same Insight object field. And I can tab this down, and there's some information listed here. Description of the payroll service, as well as the tier that it is. So the tier of importance. So this is a tier 3 service. We really care about it. What we can also see is that there is already an open incident on this payroll service. So payroll system is down. You can see there's one incident raised. This happens to be the one that I just submitted. But if there were more, somebody else submitted a new request right before I did, we would see that there are 2 open incidents on this affected service. So a key feature of incident management within Jira, or Jira Service Management, is that we can see all of the recent changes on the affected service. So you can see within the last 3 months, there was a deployment 21 for the payroll service. So a recent change has been made. This could potentially be a cause of why the payroll system is down. So right now we're in this phase of investigation. A couple other things I want to show you is that we can mark this as a major incident by flipping this toggle here. And I'll be honest with you, all that really does is just flag this up here. But it is nice. We can start a conference call. And what this does is this actually takes us to Opsgenie and creates a conference bridge that anyone that anyone can enter as long as this ticket is active. So now if I come back to the ticket, we can see that this bridge is active and ready for anyone that comes to this ticket to jump in and help investigate and come up with a solution to this incident. We can also create a chat channel within Slack, identify the appropriate responder teams, that is the IT ops team, and that is actually managed in services as well as Opsgenie. We can see linked alerts, inform appropriate stakeholders if we had them listed out. But another really unique feature that I want to go over really quickly is this investigate button. So like I said, if I go back, doesn't look like our deployments. Oh, there was a deployment. Here we go. So that most recent change that we saw down there in the recent changes to our affected service was deployment 21 from our Bitbucket pipeline. So I can actually label this as a potential cause for this deployment. Now we do see that it was a successful deployment, but nonetheless, what I can do is log into Bitbucket. Just give me a moment. I can log into Bitbucket here and quickly view deployment 21. So there's really nothing here, but you could view your code that you have recently deployed, make any changes here right within Bitbucket, like potentially you found your cause that for the reason the incident has occurred, and it was an error with the code. You could quickly make that change and go ahead and redeploy directly to production right from here. So integrating Bitbucket with Jira Service Management and Jira software is really great. So that's this investigate option. And now what I want to do is just briefly show you Opsgenie and what has happened over there since we have our Opsgenie integrated with Jira Service Management. We can see that an incident has been raised, which is the one that I just submitted. So if I open this up, I can see that the responding team is the IT operations as well as the IT ops being the owner team. I have the ability to quickly view the incident over in Jira Service Management here, just by clicking this link. I can see the total time that has elapsed that this incident has been open. And we can pass really as much information as needed over to Opsgenie. We do have an activity log that we can view to see who the appropriate responder is at any given time, as well as the responder states. So this email alert notification was sent to Brian Darr at 11:23, but I can see here that he has not actually viewed this alert. So if he does not acknowledge this alert within the next 5 minutes or so, this alert will actually escalate and notify the next person on call, or maybe this will call his cell phone, depending on how you have your escalation policies and alert routing set up. So we can view the incident command center, which I spoke of earlier, which just takes us back to this conference bridge where everybody may be gathering. We can also acknowledge and close the alert over here within Opsgenie once we have found a a solution. Now within Opsgenie, one more thing I would just like to mention quickly. You can have what are called actions that you can run and deploy code or scripts directly from Opsgenie. So if I had an action listed, which I do not, but if I had an action that ran some code maybe in an AWS server that needed to just restart the server, I could quickly deploy that right from here, listed out as an action that maybe just says restart AWS. Who knows, but it is an option. So I'm going to acknowledge this alert, and I will show here that I did acknowledge that. All right. Oh, last thing I do want to show you really quickly are services and how those are managed. So within Jira, we can build out our services. So for example, I submitted a request related to payroll. We can identify the tier as well as the service owners and the people that can approve changes on this specific service, as well as link a repository to our service. We can also add service relationships. So, upstream and downstream services that may impact our payroll system, we can add here. So if one service does depend on another, we can view that here, and alerts will be transferred, downstream. So that is going to be services, as well as all of the incident management functionality within Jira Service Management and some of the high-level things that you can do. Now, you can get really nitty-gritty with this, but we're just taking this high-level view right now. So I'm going to come back to my slides, and I'm just going to talk about change management. So who is this for? Change management is generally for change managers, developers. What is the main challenge here for those teams? That is going to be the ability to manage risk appropriately, coordinate changes across the organization, and kind of ease that overall bureaucratic effort when it comes to change advisory boards and who actually owns what. So the solution for that is this built-in automated risk assessment, as well as ticket creation and resolution within Jira Service Management. And we can do that with 3 tools out of the box, those being Jira Service Management, Bitbucket, and Automation for Jira. So if I come back to Jira and I go back out to my portal, let's see. Oh, here we are. So I'm going to request a change. And bear with me here for just a minute on this change management one. I think we might have changed our demo site ever so slightly. So just bear with me, but I'm just going to say payroll. Actually, let's do add, I don't know, payroll change. I can pick my affected service that this change relates to. It's going to be payroll. My change type is just going to be a standard change. Very little impact, low urgency. Our change risk is medium, and the reason is just general maintenance. And we can fill out, everything else: implementation plan, test plan, backup plan, you name it. But I'm not going to do that for now, unless it's going to make me. Oh, it wants a description. All right, so the manual way to do this, and I will show you an automated process here, but the manual way is once this change has been submitted, We can see our affected service, which is payroll. So there is actually an open incident on this payroll system right now, which could impact our, us approving this change. But we can see it automatically went to a group of our CAB approvers to actually approve this change, but it is a standard change, so you can automate that. But down here at the bottom, what I want to show you is this automated risk summary. So it actually wants me to add planned start and planned end dates first before I do that. All right. So now that I have those planned start and planned end dates in there, the automatic risk calculator or risk summary ran and says, just at a high level, here's the summary of all the events that might cause a risk to this change. There are currently no other changes that are scheduled for this time slot, so we're not going to have any impact there. But the risk summary did find one ongoing open incident, so that might add additional risk to this change, and we may want to hold off on completing this change until we get this incident resolved. So we could view any recent changes as well as any open incidents. So we can see here that there is one ongoing incident to our payroll system. Within Jira, we also do get a built-in change calendar. So we can see here on our change calendar, we have our upgrade website change that I had just submitted. Oh, wait, that's not the one I submitted. There's one out there already, but I think I said the 8th or 9th. Oh, yeah, I might have picked a couple days. But here's our payroll change. We can click into this and see some key information about this scheduled change. So you can edit this ticket right here as well by just pressing this pencil. So pretty cool. But what I want to show you guys now is how we can automate a lot of this. And we're going to see how well this goes. I know we made some changes to this demo, so let's see what we can do. So if I come to my Jira software project, so I believe it's a sample Scrum project here. I'm going to create a new ticket named, we'll just say add payroll. I'm sorry, add. So we're just going to add the euro to our payroll system. And I'm going to go ahead and create this ticket. I'm going to view the issue. And so let's come to our Bitbucket now. Oops. See, I'm not seeing this specific file that I'm looking for. Let's just see if it'll still work with this README file. Let's make a brief edit. We'll change who do we talk to from Brian to Wade. So let's make a change here. This is just all kind of fictitious information. And we're actually going to commit these changes. All right, so let's see if our automation actually worked. So if I come back to my ticket and I refresh my screen. Doesn't look, and I was a little bit worried about that. I think this one might be. Let's see. Fortunately, I think this demo might be somewhat broken. Let's see if we can't use this. See if we can't. That's already closed. So I apologize. What we can do actually, though, is once we've made a change to our code and we've committed it to Jira on our ticket, what will happen is you can automate a change request to automatically be submitted once you've committed that code. So I do apologize that that is not, I was a little worried about that. I should have tested it before we hopped on, but that is the general idea. So what I'm going to do now in light of that is open the floor up to some Q&A. Okay. So if you guys have questions about anything you've seen today, please put your questions down in the Q&A section, and I will go ahead and answer those. So there's one question right now from an attendee. It says, can customers cancel or close requests from the portal? That's a great question. So if you're out in your portal, you can display specific transitions. Actually, maybe I'll come to an open request. We can display, and this is a bad one. I'm not sure if we have any requests that shows. Yeah, here we go. So we can display specific transitions to the customers out on the portal for them to transition it themselves. So in this specific example, I've submitted a new laptop request, and if the user, for whatever reason, they get their laptop working, they do not need a new one, they can actually go ahead and cancel this request themselves. Never mind, it works. They have the ability to escalate the ticket, transition it from different statuses, and all of that depends on what the Jira Service Management administration team and the use case says to expose for the customers to do. Okay, we got another question here. Says, can you please tell us a couple of words about post-incident reviews? So yeah, post-incident reviews, what you can do here within Jira Service Management is after you close an open incident, you can automatically create a post-incident review ticket. We don't actually have this built out in our demo instance, but you could easily, come here, start a post-incident review, select a specific issue type that is post-incident review. And so the summary would be something like review past payroll incident on ticket 123, what have you. This is an automated process that you can establish when that incident is closed. We can create a post-incident review with the issue key and summary there. And then ideally what you can do is you can manage all of the review that you are going to be doing on this incident here on the ticket, who it's assigned to, add the users that were involved, as request participants. And then ideally what Jira Service Management would like you to do is actually have a Confluence space linked to this project for post-incident reviews specifically. So you'll be tracking all of your findings on a Confluence document that would be listed here, you know, as a linked Confluence document where you're managing all of your findings. So, you know, we could link a Confluence page here. We can just say demo instance home, for example. But if that's where we were managing all of our PIR information, we can link this Confluence page here. So there's some good automation around this and some kind of unique use cases that I've seen in the past. But at a high level, I think that's you know, a pretty good use case. Good question. Excuse me. All right, does anyone else have any other questions? I am here for the next 13 minutes, so if you have them, feel free to let me know. What I will do really quickly, though, while I wait for some more questions to potentially come in, just show you a list of our upcoming webinars, as well as our classes that we offer. So you can see here that Jira Bootcamp, Jira Service Management Bootcamp, all listed out. I usually this list updates, but I do believe that that is out of date. A couple things I need to look into, but yeah, you can go to our website. We'll post a link to that here quickly. All right, guys. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions come in, so I'm going to go ahead and close this down. I do appreciate you all coming. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Expium or me, and we will happily answer any questions that you may have as they do come up. So thank you all for attending.